Foos. Them's is fighting words, brother. Yep. I'll tell you what, we'll see how the audience feels about what you just said. So anyway, guys, good evening. Welcome to Caliber Corner Weekly Edition. We are talking about the coveted Sig P320. And I just want to say right now, no matter what I say about this gun, somebody's probably going to try to prove me wrong or disagree with me in some way, shape, or form. And that's totally cool. I've tested the P320 on the channel. I really enjoyed it. I got to shoot it before and after it went in for the drop service on it because it was part of the recall. And so we're going to have some fun tonight just talking about the P320, talking about the different types that are out there, the different models that are out there, what your options are, and just see if it really is the competition to the perfection that's out there, also known as the Glock. But before we do that, we're going to let the esteemed panel introduce themselves. What's up, Foos? Go ahead.
Esteemed, my butt.
Well, why don't we start? Let's start with you, Foos. Let's start with you. What do you got to say, man?
About the 320 versus the Glock?
Oh, no. Give us your introduction. We'll do the panel introduction, and we'll just go right at it, man. We'll just see what everybody's experiences are with P320, and yeah.
So my experience with P320 is I have an M17 surplus, one from the military, and I've shot several of them, competition models all the way down to completely bone stock. All my shooting is basically competitive stuff. The 320 is in almost every way better than the Glock.
Okay. Cool. All right. So anyway, guys, make sure you check out Foos_USPSA channel. What's that?
Not even a comparison.
Okay.
It's apples to oranges.
I don't know, man. When it comes to buying at the store, they're right next to each other in the case. So we're going to have to see what comes up. All right. Also joining us, fresh from a stint enjoying some full auto freedom, is Chris from the 740. Hey, Chris, how's it going, man? How you doing?
It's going great. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
All right. So what's your experience with the 6-hour P320?
If we're talking about the M17 or just a basic 320 out of the box, it's mediocre at best.
Okay. So before we go ahead. Yeah.
But with that being said, one of my favorite guns of all time that I've ever reviewed on my channel was the 320 Max, the Maximum Shell Edition.
Okay. So and that's the thing about it. A lot of people don't like that base model P320, but they like one of the variants because you've got different options for grip styles and you've got different triggers, you've got different finishes, different frame material, right? Mm-hmm. So Chris, real quick, tell us about your channel. If somebody goes there, what can they find? What do you have to offer? You do a little podcast yourself. Let us know.
Yeah, Wednesday nights we do the Wednesday night live chat from 9 to 11 Eastern. Do a lot of accessory and gun reviews on the channel, and just kind of all over the place with different, do some reloading, some ammo comparisons and things like that.
I need had a pretty good show last night too. What's that?
I need to show up on his chat. He
Did
talks
you?
About reloading.
Yeah, were you there last night? I did watch for a little while.
No, I'm saying I need to because he talks about reloading.
Oh, absolutely, man. You guys had one of your reloading gurus on last night. Who's that guy that you had on your show, Chris?
That guy was from Malta. Mm-hmm. And I started watching his channel 3 or 4 months ago. He's got a really cool YouTube channel, and I had no idea where he was from. He had reached out to me. He
sounds like he's from Italy when he's talking. I mean, I couldn't tell, but yeah.
So he had reached out to me about something else, and I said, man, I would really like to have you come on the live stream, and but not knowing where he was. So, but it was pretty cool. He set his alarm for 3 a.m. and he got up and got online with us for 2 hours. And
holy crap, dude,
that was awesome. Yeah, we had a great time with him.
That kind of shows you how in-depth, passionate we are about firearms, and it's just not a U.S. thing. It's a worldwide thing. If you're into firearms, you're into firearms.
Yep. And he had said that he just started off his channel just by showing some clips off of some of his ammo collection, I think, and then it had grown from there. That's pretty much how he built his channel, and he's getting a little bit of a following, which is pretty cool. So yeah. All right. And then last, but certainly not the least, we've got Squibload. Squibload, how's it going today, man? How you doing? Are you good?
Yeah, working as usual.
So, Squib, I'm just going to drop this one on you right away. You've got some military experience, Marines, right? What are your thoughts on the Army going with the M17 Sig variant, P320 variant? you feel like it was a good decision? Do you think they should have moved away from what, the M9? What are your thoughts on that? When the military decides to go with a gun, do you think they made a good choice, or what do you think?
Well, I guess I guess that's about the only thing I'm going to be able to add to this is the military perspective. Never having shot a M17, I don't know a whole lot about it. I can tell you that when they went from the 1911 to the M9, the 1911 had been in service for 75 years. It was still in service side by side with the M9, and there were certain units that had special 1911s made for them long after the M9 was the standard service sidearm in all branches. And the M9 really didn't get a lot of life. It's not out yet. It's still there. I'm sure that there are National Guard units that still have it and things like that. It's probably aboard ship and other places where it might not be as front line. But I guess what the military is looking for is for something that anybody can use. And by use, it doesn't mean go out there and be Jerry Miculek. It means be able to employ this as a last-ditch weapon, or when you're trying to do something in the rear, like, say, guard prisoners or something like that. It's got to be lightweight, durable, parts have got to be available. It's got to be something that can be easily broke down and cleaned. And whenever possible, use existing hardware. But I heard that they're not going to keep the M12 holster. They've got a new holster for this too. I haven't actually seen it, but that's one thing about some of the equipment, whether it's a jet, a tank, a sidearm, whatever it is, if they can use the same tools, the same manual of arms, things like that, then it's something that is cost effective because you don't have to retrain your people or that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying, those are reasons why they chose it. The ease of use, the adjustability, the ability to adapt it to the frames of different shooters. Obviously but not necessarily backwards compatibility, but going forward, the expandability of the line itself and what it has to offer. And that one's got the manual safety on it too, but yeah.
So one thing with the M17, those 1,500 that were released to the public from SIG that were military surplused out, it came with 4 different grip modules. It came with a more of a compact one. It came with a small, medium, and a large, and it was just up to whatever serial number you got as to what grip frame you got. So in the military,
but that doesn't follow military doctrine. That's one of the things that confuses me about it. They give it to you and they go, here, it fits. Well, no, it's too big. No, it fits. That's what the military does. When they're saying, oh, here, when you go check it out of the armory, tell them what grip module you want, and that's the NSN they're going to pull off. It's like that flies in the face of over 200 years of American military doctrine.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying what's out there. A buddy of mine, he had 15 of them, and there was like 2 of them that were identical. So I'm just saying the adaptability to be able to have anyone use the firearm. I'm just saying with a grip module, anyone can use it no matter how big your hand is. That's all I'm saying.
I think it shows the military is getting soft. I mean, I've seen enough stuff released from the military over the past 10 plus years that makes me think that we're in big trouble. But when it's, oh, here, we're gonna size your sidearm to your hand. I mean, it's just.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree.
All right, we'll come back to this here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and give a little shout out on the YouTube side, and then we'll just get into the discussion and see what we think about the platform in general. And I've got the SIG website ready to go to show off the various models and what it has to offer, some of the specs on it, and so on. I think there might be a caliber or 2 that are no longer in production for the P320, but they do have, I believe, 9, 40, and 45 that you can currently get right now. Have they done? I can't remember. Is there a 10mm version of it out yet or not?
I believe you can get it now.
I never even heard of the 45 version. I thought it was only 9 and 40.
Now, I think the full size is available on a 45 ACP, but we'll have to go through the different variants when you click on the SIG website and they show it off. But yeah,
I definitely know that the FCU is big enough for 45.
Yeah. And that's one thing about it, too, is having the serialized fire control unit. If for those of you that don't know much about the P320, you can pull that out and put that in different size frames like we were mentioning earlier. Mm-hmm. There was even a company at SHOT Show a couple of years ago that showed an AR-15 where you drop in your Sig Sauer FCU and you use that in your lower for your AR. They're actually showing that off as, hey, I mean, I don't know what the point is, but I mean, it's an interesting proof of concept idea, you know, just to kind of say this is to show you how flexible it is. Plus, the nice thing about the fire control unit, it really opens it up to the aftermarket for different companies that make different frames and grips and so on. If you want to get away from the SIG route and go with something, say, with more aggressive texturing or a different kind of grip to it or whatnot, kind of like what you get with the P365. So that is pretty cool. They offer that. Yeah.
And you know how Glock, there's Glock, not a Glock? Well, there's a SIG FCU, and that could be the only SIG part you have in your firearm.
Yeah, yeah. Which also means 3D printing wise, you could 3D print your own Glock grip if you want to. You just have to get the components you need to finish it out.
I know of 3 people that are running that have a 3D printed SIG grip module and are currently testing.
Yeah, and it's completely legal because that's not the serialized part of the firearm for anybody that's listening right now. So
correct. In a SIG, the grip module is just like a sight.
Mm-hmm. So Gary's got a comment for us here. He says, I got both the G19 and the Sig P320. Love both, but the Sig is the better gun. Okay. Let's see, out there watching tonight, we got Fluffy 10mm Jeep Guy. We got Kingpin, Chris in the 740, Defense Dad, Kevin June is out there. Let's see, Giza Gary, YNH, Willie Maney's out there also. He goes, I like the M9, but I do think it was about time that the Army upgraded to something like the SIG. Okay, interesting. All right. Iris Wrist Watchers out there tonight. Wayward Son Custom. Hunting and Stuff with J&J's out there also. Boat 75's joining us. Tactical FUD, Defense Dad in the house. And we'll take a look at the survey here in just a little bit as we kind of go through this. So, yeah, more thoughts on the P320 before we go to the website. Boosh, you want to say anything about it in general? What do you think?
So the SIG 320 is in almost every way better than the Glock.
Okay, how so? Well, what's your rationale behind it?
Hold on. If you take a stock Glock and a stock SIG, that's one thing. But the modularity between them, we're talking about the entire platform. So I'm thinking all the Glock platforms versus all the 320 platforms. The 320 is by far better because more ergonomics, more reliability is about the same. You could tailor it to you. You could do what you want to it, just like you can with the Glock, except with the Glock, if you want a different grip size, you have to buy a different Glock.
Yeah.
With the SIG, it's like we said, it's just swap out the grip module. You have everything you want. So if you want a Glock, Glock 45 size, you can do that. If you want a Glock 17 size, you could do that, all on the same FCU. The only thing that the Glock has over the SIG is longevity in the market.
So, Foos, let me ask you a question, because you shoot a lot of USPSA matches like me. Mm-hmm. I can count at least 5 times I've seen an extractor break on a 320 during a match. Mm-hmm. So that is one weak point of the firearm for sure.
And I've seen just as many Glocks fail as well.
Okay.
It's not, so it's maintenance. They're simple machines. You know what is, like, if the SIG has weak extractors, okay, twice a year, swap out the extractor. Glock, twice a year, swap out striker springs, swap out this, swap out that. It's maintenance on your firearm. SIGs, CZs, swap out trigger return springs and
hammer springs or whatever.
It's called. No, hammer springs and bolt hole, or the slide hole cross pins. You just have to know what fails on the gun, what is the weak point, and stock those. It's like any other machine.
Yeah, if you compete with something, if you're running, I don't know, 5, 10, 15,000 rounds per year, there's going to be some maintenance you're going to need to do to that firearm. You know,
Yep.
I mean, regardless of the brand, it's just because metal is metal. Metal wears out, metal gets fatigued and stuff. And I don't know what the service life of your average Glock 19 is between, you know, major component replacement. I'm not sure exactly what it is. And you can have lemons. I mean, things can get cast improperly or forged improperly, or there could be a bad batch or something out of spec. I mean, I look at my P365 sitting next to me. It's had 4 recalls on it since it came out. Not my particular one because mine was made later, but there's been 4 revisions of it or changes that they made to because of the little things that happen. So, you know, things can fail. They're absolute. That's why when I put the post up for the survey this evening on YouTube, I said, you know, which gun is the better handgun, not which one's the best handgun, because any of those handguns can basically fail. So that's just something I was thinking about. One thing I do like, Foos, about the P365, and again, not to make this a P365 conversation, but the Wilson Combat grip module that you can get for the P365. Yep. Do they do it for the P320? I guess I never did look. Do they? They do.
They do.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
And so it's cool you got that competition. Are there aftermarket companies like other than Sig that make a lower grip module?
Yes.
Out of steel or aluminum?
Steel, aluminum,
machined, CNC
there,
machined.
I know
or
there's
whatnot.
one. There's one
for the
P365 that does make aluminum.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
There's one for aluminum. I can't remember the name, but I know
Icarus.
Greyguns. They have one that is stupid heavy and stupid durable. But yeah,
Icarus.
there's what?
I think Icarus Precision makes all metal lower for the 320.
Yeah, I think it's aluminum.
They're not cheap. I think the P365 all aluminum lower is like $200 or $300. It's almost as much as the gun itself. But if you want that to have that more just solid heft or just something different, you know, it's an option that's out there. Willie Mania out there says, I know I've seen Icarus Precise or probably Icarus Precision makes an aluminum grip module for the P365. So that's one cool thing about it is, again, you can print your own if you want to, which is kind of nice having that modularity. So why don't we just kind of go right to it and just check out all the different models, look at the calibers and see what's out there. Now, P320 is an evolution of the P250, if I'm not mistaken. And that's one that I never did check on my channel, but I really wish I would have picked up a P250 because they were like, God, at one point they were like $300, maybe $325 before the P320s came out. So what we'll share with you real quick is we're just going to go visit the SIG website, just kind of run through some of the different models and show you what they have to offer. And again, we're not endorsed by any of these companies, but we're just showing them off. And the thing about SIG is they're always coming out with different variants and models, and there's limited edition versions of it. And there's, you know, shop tuned models you can get and blinged out models of it and so on. But you can just get yourself a basic, you know, bread and butter model if you want to. So let's go to the P320 and just check it out. Hey guys, if there's a question that pops up on StreamYard, let me know because I'll try to bounce back to the StreamYard side. But right now I'm just looking at the regular website. I heard somebody else pop back in. There's Foos. Okay. All right. So as we go through this, we'll run through the different models. They've got the P320 Nitron Compact, and this is the P320 Fire Control Unit. So, oh, and it has that straight trigger too. I didn't realize that. So they have
the XL trigger.
Yeah. That's the Custom Works is what they call it. The Custom Works P320 Fire Control Unit. I don't know what those run. I would guess they're probably going to be a little bit cheaper than the full-size gun, but I mean, maybe $300. I'm not sure. So, you know, you could get that if you wanted to do your own build and go source a slide somewhere in a barrel. And there's aftermarket slides. There's tons of companies making parts for this thing. In my opinion, it's basically as customizable as a Glock. You could argue that with me, but checking out the P320 Nitron Compact, and then just to let you know about the calibers. So they do have the P320 Nitron Compact in 45 ACP. You get 2 9-round steel mags, so you can go 9+1. The basic compact model itself in the free states it comes with 2 15-round steel mags, 3-dot contrast sights, and you can usually get those with like a 9-sight upgrade. No threaded barrel in the base model, compact. Accessory rail is Picatinny compatible in 1913, striker fired. Grip module on that one is compact polymer medium, black, carbon steel barrel, stainless steel frame, Slide finish is nitron. The slide finish holds up fairly well for the most part. And that's going to be the kind of your basic bread and butter model. Does not have the optics cut, isn't threaded, no frills, but again, there's really nothing wrong with it. But you can definitely step up if you want to. The fire control unit itself, let's see. We got some background noise. I'm just going to go ahead and mute.
Yeah,
I
know.
Okay?
Yeah,
all right, no problem, man. All right. Let's go and do that. As we look at it again, you can kind of check it out and see what it looks like. So you could buy an aftermarket frame if you want to, source your own barrel and slide, and you're basically good to go. And again, there's a lot of support for it out there. So it's nice that you've got those options if you want to. Here they kind of show you some of the differences that are out there and the different finishes and colors and so on. They show you the inside of it. And again, it is the serialized part. So if you get it, it's essentially you're buying the firearm itself. I don't know what it is, but stuff is not really highly rated on the SIG website. A lot of people go on there and complain about their products, which might be a good thing because you might think, well, how can that not be good? It gets 3 out of 5. And, you know, for whatever reason, there's people complaining about something. The P320 Nitron full size, okay, again, that's going to be striker fired. In 9mm only, 17 rounds. So you can go 17 plus 1. So what's the weight on that thing? I don't know if they give us the weight. The weight is 29.5 ounces, which is pretty comparable to a Glock 17. So it is a nice competitor to the G17. Easy to take apart, easy to clean. Definitely a lot of fun to shoot. Striker fired also. Nitron slide finish and so on. So if you want the full size, you can go that route. So again, you're just looking at the different frame sizes, but essentially the same fire control unit. Chris, what was it that you said you fired before? Which model was it? Was it one of the VTACs, or what have you fired before?
The P320 Max. I believe I think you're coming up on it.
Okay. So here's that P320. Okay, there's the M18. Okay, and then there's the M17. So I wonder, is the M18 not military issue and the M17 is?
I want to say the M18 has a shorter grip.
Yeah, it looks like it's maybe a more compact version, but I didn't know if that was an actual, maybe that's just its own civilian variant of it that's not going to see any military service. I don't know. It's got the manual safety on it. Looks like it's got the optics cut on it. Yeah, so again, they've got the M18 as an option. It says same accuracy, durability, and reliability as the M17 now in a compact size. So that's, yeah, I might have to get into that just a little bit more. I didn't realize that they had this model out there. You don't see a lot
M18?
of these. Yeah, the M18, has that been out for a while?
Yeah, it's been out for a while. The main difference is all the trigger, slide stop, all that stuff is black compared to the tan, on the M17.
Well, yeah, your 18 looks like it's got a shorter barrel also. Is it a more compact model or no? I guess we can really just look at the stats and see. Yeah, it is, because you can tell the difference between the 17 and the 18. Say, Foos, does your M17 look like that?
Well, no, because mine has the fire control stuff. OD, not OD, but Desert Tan.
Oh yeah, because you said yours was the Army surplus version, basically a special edition that they had or whatnot. The one that was made in limited numbers for the public. Yeah.
No, it wasn't made. No, it was military said, "Hey, we want these guns updated," so they gave them back to SIG. SIG's like, well, we'll just give you brand new guns. Gave them brand new guns, fixed those, and then surplused them.
Okay. Let's see. We've got YNH out there says, my buddy picked up a P320 AXG Scorpion for $850 last weekend. Let's see. Tactical FUD says, my 320 came with 21 round mags. Tactical FUD, is that new from the factory, or was that something that you bought, or did you get it? Did you happen to pick those up separately or used? Defense Dad says the M18 is like the difference of a Commander 1911 compared to full size. Yeah, that's comparable. One nice thing about this, though, your M18 and your M17, ambidextrous is nice for the slide stop / slide release and also your safety. So you have the ambi controls, which I don't believe you get with just the basic P320. I think it's just right-hand bias only. Yeah.
So here's the 17. It's the compact grip with the extended mag, the 21 round mag.
Okay.
There's the rack number.
Yeah. And you said an FTE.
It's all FTE.
Okay. Let's see the front of it. So is it like, okay, so it is like the M17. It is the M17. You've got the longer barrel, optics cut on the top. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there were only 1,500 of those that were basically manufactured, and that was it for civilians, basically.
No, they're not manufactured for civilians. They're surplus. This gun was actually in the 101st Airborne.
Oh, okay.
If you take the serial number and go back, it came from 101st Airborne.
Gotcha.
So this one was over in the desert. Like there's 1,500 of them that were surplus.
Gotcha. All right, man. We'll go ahead and take it off camera before we get shut down. All right, no problem. I know that there's guys that show guns off all the time on their channel, but I was curious about that. I was really curious what it was that made it unique, which is definitely a collector's piece. I mean, that alone is going to give it some value, which is cool. The fact that it was, combat issue sidearm is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's gone up. The price of it's gone up probably about 500% since I bought it.
Oh, I can't imagine, dude. What are they going for on the market now? Like $2,000 or what?
I've seen 25.
Holy cow.
They go for 25, and I bought it for $5.
Jeez.
When they first came out, all day long, $5.
So it does pay to invest in surplus firearms, people. Just as a heads up, if you ever have an opportunity to pick up some surplus and it runs, it's not going to go down in value. I've said that a million times, especially something like that. Just like
we've said with any surplus, the time to buy is whenever they are available.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then we got the P320 RXP full size. Again, you got your optics cut up on the top. Again, not a bad looking gun. Let's see, the RXP, what do we got here for capacity? We've got 217s with that one. Again, 9mm. Most of these you can get with 10 round mags if you're in a magazine restricted state also. Oh, okay, so it looks like we do have a slide stop, slide release as an ambi. So maybe that's something that's just standard now too. Or maybe it always has been, but I don't remember if the P320 that I tested had an ambi slide stop on it. P320 X10, and again, that's, I think we're at a point now where manufacturers, I said this like 3 years ago, I said I wouldn't be surprised if we see, most major models in the next year or two coming out with an optics cut, because that's the next big selling piece on a lot of these guns. And it's easy for them to just retool for an optics cut, raise the price, and resell it, because again, it's going to take additional machining and manufacturing. I can understand there's going to be some additional costs there initially. And so again, the optics cut, and now the 10mm, everything coming out in 10mm, an M&P in 10mm, P320 X10. I can't wait for Taurus to come out with the 10mm. High Point really needs to come out with the 10mm handgun. Now they got the carbine, but the handgun. Hey, Chris,
so
go ahead, Foos.
Whenever it comes to the optic mount, it's already in the fixtures for the front and rear sights. So the optic mount is just a little bit more machining time. They don't even have to touch the gun.
And I wouldn't be surprised. There's probably dozens of companies out there that will machine your P320 slide if you want it. I'm sure there's companies that are,
absolutely.
They were probably doing it before Sig even released this version. There were companies out there cutting into it for people if you wanted it.
Yeah, Stonebridge Gunworks will take a Sig and put it back to the Romeo 1 footprint or RMR footprint, or Stonebridge Gunworks. He's a buddy of mine here in Kansas City. He does a lot of cuts.
So Squib, let me ask you a quick question here. Since you had a chance to shoot my G17 and thought it was adequate, Squib, have you ever considered testing any P320 variants, since you can get them in 45 ACP or 10mm? Would you ever consider a P320 instead of a G17, or even trying one, or not?
The only thing that even puts this on my radar is the fact that the military is using it, and if they came up with an M17 version for sale that wasn't some broken gun returned to them that gets jacked up in price or something, then I might want to get it just as a guy who collects stuff like that, because there's plenty of stuff out there that isn't actually Milspec, but they still make it. Like you can get a TT clone, and it's not a real TT-33 from World War II, but it's pretty close to it and stuff like that. So from that standpoint, it's close enough sometimes, when you get something that's not chambered in the original caliber or something, but it's pretty close. It weighs the same and stuff like that. But that's really about the only thing that even has it on my radar. It's another one of those I'm not even looking kind of thing. I've got so many things on my backlog that now I'm sure one of you a-holes is going to stick one of these in my hand and go, here, shoot it. Here's some ammo, shoot it.
You're like, oh my God, it fits my hand way better than the G17.
Squib, right now, they actually sell the M17 that is a military spec, just like what they would give to the military with black controls, and it's an M17. It's exactly what the military has.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You just don't.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to get this, that would be the model I would look for. I would try it out, rent it, or just buy it. But I mean, I really don't have any interest at all in it. That's the closest I can come to interest in it. I'm not saying it's junk.
Yeah,
I'm not. It's just there are so many calibers I'm not interested in shooting. I'm sure they're great. There's so many guns I'm not interested in shooting. I'm sure they're great. It's because the stuff that I really want to shoot, it's just, I don't know. It's
not your cup of tea.
I said it before. All the newest, latest, greatest stuff to me is a bunch of crap. I'm sure it's good crap, but I like the old stuff. I just do.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not your cup of tea. That's all good. That's why there's different types of guns.
At SHOT Show, I'd be going to the booth that has like the desert boots or something like that. I'd be like, look, this is the latest new tactical 9mm Swiss Army knife gun, and I'd be like,
the Victorinox gun, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So well, at least you're willing to at least try one. I guess the only complaint I really have about a basic P320 is just the grip texture is not very aggressive. And I remember taking the one out that I did, which was actually a 40, and you really had to hold on to it tight just because, I mean, you do anyway, but the grip texture wasn't very aggressive. And so I did have to put a little more effort into it, which isn't a big deal. But again, somebody had made a comment that they don't feel like the polymer on the basic the P320 holds up well with time, that you can start to get a little bit of fatigue in it and stuff. And at least, like I said, you've got aftermarket options if you want to try something else. Oh man, mic drop from New York Outcast. He says Squib needs to try an M&P next. Ooh man, I don't know.
I've had an M&P. I've had an M&P.
Okay. I fired an M&P 9mm. Well, he's just always trying to get you on the M&P bandwagon, isn't he? I'll tell you what, man.
I mean, I might show up to something one day with a 10mm M&P and just be like, yep, because 10mm is best millimeter.
Defense Dad, quote of the night: the X5 Legion is like the gal you really want to take home at midnight. The basic P320 is the one you want to take home at closing time. Oh, geez. Wow. Like we're loving it, but bashing it at the same time. So we're trying to be objective here, people. And that's really difficult because a lot of you really like this gun. So, all right. So Chris, this is the one that you shot, the P320 Max. You had a chance to shoot one of these. What I got. I mean, how do you, it kind of looks like I don't know. It looks like a nice competitor. Is this competition grade ready or what?
Oh yeah. I mean, Max Michel, the guy that this gun was designed for, I can't even tell you how many championships he's won. Tons. I mean that
he's
kind
won
of
all
320 to a whole other level right there.
He's won all of them. Let's just say that.
It's got his name on it, and if you buy this gun, you will too. I see some Beretta APX influence going on with the slide, though. It kind of has that melted Toblerone look that the Beretta APX has,
Max Michel is probably one of the best optic shooters in the world.
And you get 421 round max with it. That is awesome.
And with base pads, you can get them up to 23.
How much does this run? Is this about, without the optic, is it about 1,500, 1,200? Are they kind of putting it in the Shadow 2 price point or what?
Yeah, you're getting, I think, so the reason I borrowed this gun, this is what my best friend shoots in competition. So he let me borrow it for a couple weeks, shoot some video with. I think you're looking at it right around $1,700, $1,800 with the optic, with the Romeo Max. So and then that's about a $500 red dot.
Well, and here's the thing, Foos, what's the CZ Shadow 2 with an optics cut cost if you can't find it on sale? $1,500, $1,700? What are they?
Without CZ optics ready, you're looking at $1,600.
$13.99, I think, when it's not. And if I want to get an optics ready slide for my CZ Shadow 2, I think I got to spend $800 for it. So
or you take and get a Shadow 2 and then get it cut for an optic, and that cut for an optic, so you're $1,300, another $150 to cut for the optic, and then optic on top of it. So yeah, it's in the same realm.
Well, and I mean, like I said before, I paid $950 for my Shadow 2. I mean, I got it on sale. It was used, but it had never been fired before. Not that we could tell nothing more than what left the factory. So again, this is definitely something that's going to put it in the competitive world that really is gonna keep it up there with the competition that's out there. What else do we have here? And then we got the M18 commemorative. Okay, so Foos, what's the difference? Oh, M18 commemorative. Okay, they don't do an M17 commemorative because your M18 commemorative does have the FDE controls on it. Okay. I got you.
No. The M18s are black controls.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
sorry, they don't sell the M17. It's the M18 is what they sell. That is basically the military stuff.
Yeah, you get this. You can get the M18 commemorative model with the FDE controls. So if you want to get something as close to basically, Milspec or whatever is possible, or military issue, you can.
No,
but yeah,
the military is going to black controls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So the FDE stuff.
Yeah,
that was one thing that the military is wanting to change.
Okay. Then you got the P320 X Compacts. Maybe if you want to step up for your P365, that's not a bad looking gun. It's got the upgraded trigger in it. Looks like you got your night sights on it. You got an optics cut on it. Might be a little bulky, but still, it's a decent looking little pistol there. And they've got so many variants of this that they've come out with in like the last year or two. It's really hard to keep up. This one's got two 15-round mags, so this is going to be comparable to a Glock 19. It's not a bad looking gun. What else do we have here? Okay, moving on. That you can start to get
it's
into.
It's just like all other manufacturers. You have something that works. All you're going to do is start shortening the grip, shortening the slide. As long as you keep the same dimensions on the slide, you should be good as far as reliability and function.
Yeah.
So it's just like what every other gun company is doing, is making different sizes of their striker fired stuff.
So Jamie Clapp's got a question, and this isn't SIG related, but it is a good idea, because when you're shopping, you might be looking at a certain price point and say, well, for 100 less I can get this, for 100 more I can get this. Jamie Clapp says, so does anyone have an opinion on SAR USA pistols? Defense Dad out there, don't you have a SAR 9? And I had a chance to shoot it, and it's not a bad gun. It kind of feels like a VP9. I mean, I could be totally off here. Defense Dad, what did we say that SAR 9 was? They're fine. I mean, okay, they're Turkish manufacturer, and people are just going to refuse to buy Turkish imported firearms, and that's your buying decision. You can do that if you want. SAR does make some higher end models also that are set for competition, but they're way cheaper than, say, CZ or even SIG. Chris, what about you? Do you have any experience with SAR pistols at all? SAR USA pistols?
I have not. I have been looking at I believe it's that K12 they call it.
Is that the one that kind of looks like a CZ75 or looks like a Shadow 2?
Yeah, it's got the Shadow 2 look. That's a
There's
really
one that's
cool
like
looking
white
gun.
or gray or something I've seen. Yeah, they got the K12 Sport X.
Yeah, I'm kind of really interested in that gun. I don't know. There's so many of them I want right now.
Yeah.
I want that, like we're talking about 320s, that the X10 will be the first 320 that I buy.
Yeah, I don't want to change the conversation, but we can almost have SAR pistols as a separate discussion if we want to. Maybe I can get Ghost Tactical on here. I think he's got a lot of experience with them.
Yeah.
Okay. So Defense Dad says the SAR 9 is like a G17. Had a fun Saturday night with an H&K. Frame is like the VP9, but slide is more like the G17. Shoots well. Yeah, and I fired it before, and there's nothing wrong with it. For a while, they're like 6 months ago or so, they had them with like a rebate. Were like $215 or $225 after rebate. They were ridiculously cheap, and you got 2 mags with it. Now, holster compatibility could be an issue if you want a holster made just for that specific pistol, and then mag compatibility shouldn't be an issue. It seems like a lot of these guns that are coming out now have some sort of cross-platform mag compatibility. Like either it'll take like a Sig mag, or it'll take a Glock mag, or it'll take whatever. So you shouldn't have too much trouble finding mags for it, unless it's more proprietary. But let's see. Kevin June says the SAR 12 is like a CZ Shadow, but stainless steel. Yeah, the SAR USA K12 Sport is $649, and it looks very similar to the Shadow 2. If you guys should check it out, it looks like it's like a flat gray color, kind of like a matte silver kind of finish to it. It's not a bad looking gun. It's not bad. I have no experience with it, but the SAR that I shot was totally fine. And they do build them to a certain spec, and usually you get Sometimes like a Tennifer coating on the slides, or you get a nitron barrel. Cold hammer forged barrels is pretty much standard for Sauer and Canik and companies like that. So, all right, let's see, back to the P320s. Moving on as we scroll down, we're almost done. The P320 X-Carry Legion. I have not fired any of the Legion series. I'd like to. They've also got the P320 X-Carry Spectre, and again, not bad looking guns, but as you go up there, we're looking at probably close to $1,000, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can check me on that for the price point, but the Spectre's got what? It's got compensator cuts in it. It's got the aftermarket trigger or the upgraded trigger. It's got the optics cut on it, night sights, and it does have a different grip texture on it, which has my interest because it was the P320's grip texture that just I was not a fan of. But again, nothing wrong with that. They've also got the P320 RXP Compact, the AXG Pro, P320 Full. The problem with this after a while is that they all kind of start to look the same, you know. And I guess you have to kind of think, you know, what are you looking for in the gun? Do you want something that's an all-around pistol? Do you want something for concealed carry? Do you want something that's going to be a bedside gun? Do you want something to compete with? You know, you've got a lot of options.
When you said they all start to look the same,
They
you
do,
know
man.
what
I'm
word?
trying to. It's
You know
like
what?
they're-
You know what word
Yeah.
flashed into my head when you said that?
they all look the same. What's that?
Glock.
Hey, man, yeah, and I'm not going to deny that at all. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it's yeah, because you've got all these different frame sizes and you've got different slide sizes. And some of them start to look a little bit different. Like the, you know, the XG Pro looks a little bit more like a 226, and again, the P320 extra full size. You know, you got a lot of options. Which one is it that's got the tungsten frame? Is it the X5 Legion? I can't remember which one it was.
Legion, and I think it's the
too.
yeah, and Grey Guns. They have a grip module
Yeah.
for it as well.
So yeah, the X5 Legion, it says it's got the perfect balance of added weight and features that result in one of the best shooting pistols on the market. So again, this is going to be competition ready essentially. Yeah, with the frame made out of tungsten. What did we say the weight was on that? We got to look this up. It weighs in at 43.5 ounces. So that's definitely getting up there. What, 3.5 pounds or something like that? What's the Shadow 2 weigh though? Because I mean, the dust cover on the loan on the Shadow 2 is like over 8 ounces, 10 ounces. Yeah.
I could weigh
Give me the
one
weight
real
on that. I'm
quick.
really kind of curious to see how it compares.
Hold on, let me go grab one and I will
Okay.
weigh it.
Just showing off the top of the X5 Legion, you can see the little cuts in the slide, the lightening cuts, if you will. And again, you got your optics cut on it also. Yeah, I've actually had a chance to hold that in the store, and it does feel pretty substantial. But again, it's also going to make it much more flat shooting just because of the extra weight that's on it, which is good for competition because it keeps your gun, you know. Chris, this is one. Have you held this one yet or shot this one at all?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the way it feels in the hand's not too much different than the Max.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good gun too. I mean, it's
Yeah. Defense Stat says the X5 Legion, tungsten infused polymer. Yeah, I remember hearing about it when it first came out. Kevin June says 46 ounces. I'm assuming that's for the Shadow 2. So it's pretty much, you know, it's pretty much on par with the Shadow 2 in terms of just weight and overall heft and stuff like that. Although it is nice having that full-length Picatinny rail, you know, for maybe a little more modularity with accessories where you're a little more limited with the Shadow 2 just having one notch in it and that's it. Kingpin says he's got to step away for a bit. He's leaving. New York Outcast in charge. All right, you guys better not get out of line because if you do, New York Outcast is going to come after you. Yeah.
A Shoutout 2 is 2 pounds, 11.6 ounces.
Okay.
Whatever that conversion is.
10, 20, 30, 42. It's basically 45. It's almost the same weight. Yeah.
one other thing too that I've been real impressed with here with the SIGs that I shot are the red dots. So the Max that we were looking at, that has its own dot. It's the Romeo Max. So it's got the not quite as wide, but the real tall rounded window like the Trigicon SRO.
Yeah, we'll go back to it here real quick. That we were just looking at. Yeah, it does, because I think Defense Head he made a comment out there saying, hey, has that thing got an SRO on the top of it? And it's essentially copying the SRO design. Okay, you said it was the P320.
The Max.
Let's find it real quick here. The Max. Did I go past it already? I'll bring it up here in a second. I think it might actually have its own. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So he's bumping back in on StreamYard. Oh, no, we're back. We're good. Okay. All right, yeah. So we look at it here. The Romeo 3 Max. It's only cut for that particular optic.
Yeah, I
compatible
believe
with that optic.
Yeah, I'm not sure what other compatibility that footprint has, but
so I have a problem with that. What do you do 10 years from now if that optic's not available or yours wears out? I mean,
so that is one bad thing with Sig is they have multiple
kind of proprietary.
Yeah, multiple footprints, and like none of them are SRO, none of them are this or that. They're proprietary.
And on this one, notice you don't have a front sight. So, if you, I guess you have an option of getting, if anybody ever makes one, a different slide. You could get a different slide for it if you want to, just conventional sights on it if you need to. You might have, that's not the reason why you buy this in the first place, to spend the money on it. And, somebody's not thinking 10 years down the road, if they get something like this, maybe they want it for competition now. They don't really care. But being reliant upon one particular optic, I'm not really a big fan of that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. But me personally, I guess I'm just sitting there thinking about this thing becoming obsolete so many years down the road. And then, it's kind of like me when I did my Sicario Daniel Defense, AR-15 build. I ended up spending an obscene amount of money for an out of production EOTech, that wasn't around anymore because of the lack of availability. The price on it was, I paid, I think, almost $200 or $300 more than the MSRP on it. And this thing is 10 years old. But I wanted one to do the gun build, and I knew that going into it, it was going to be expensive. And now that optic's even more expensive. It's the SU-281. I think it's the 553. So when these things go out of production, man, as the consumer on the end, maybe you want to shoot it or pass it off to one of your kids or your grandkids, and you can't get an optic for it, what do you do? It's, you look for a different slide, I suppose. But again, you're living in the now, and that's not the reason why you buy it. But I'm just saying, from that perspective. Okay, so here's the Wilson Combat P320 grip modules that we're talking about. And again, this is not a serialized part. This is just a piece that you replace, a part that you replace. And you're able to go with something a little bit different, maybe a little bit different ergonomics, different grip angle, again, full size, carry size, manual safety, without manual safety. And so these are only $67, which is not bad. Now, granted, you're just getting a little piece of polymer, but then I think about Magpul and how expensive their stuff is, and you're just getting a little piece of polymer, right? I will say this, I do like that grip texture a little bit better than the Sig grip texture. That looks a little more aggressive. And if you want to dress it up or customize it a little bit, you have that as an option, which is pretty cool. So that's over at the Shop Wilson Combat website. Let's see here. There's Squib. Let's get Squib back in this one here. There we go. So these are all polymer, by the way. If these were like machined aluminum and whatnot, you'd be spending $200 to $300 on them. But it's cool that they offer that.
Yeah, I went over on Icarus's website. You're looking at about $350 for one of their frames.
Okay, now we'll check that one out here in a second. Greyguns.com. These are 130 to 180. Now those are laser engraved polymer. Is that right, or are these metal? I know they're laser sculpted, but I was looking at, I think these are probably just polymer. I don't think you're going to get into a machined aluminum for, no, yeah, I think it's just polymer for 130 to 180. And then depending on which pistol you go with, that determines the price you're going to pay. You get lots of color options if you want to customize it. Robin's Egg Blue, Pepto-Bismol Pink, right? Flat Darker, Sniper Gray, Black, they look good. They do look really good. And they even have the Sig logo engraved in them. So they must be doing this under license from Sig to put Sig's logo in it, unless they're taking the Sig frame itself and they're just laser etching it, which is a possibility. I guess I didn't think about that, but okay. It says, yeah, the P320 X series modules start off as a standard Sig grip module, size medium. Other sizes are not available. Modules will occasionally be available in Cerakote. Photos shown may not reflect the exact color of the model selected. So you're spending like anywhere between 60 and 120 to basically get a custom laser sculpted grip module for the P320. So let's go check this one out. You said, look, there's a lot of companies that offer different options for you, which is nice because a lot of people are not necessarily happy with the Sig standard grip. There's Proven Outfitters. There's companies here I've never even heard of before. Top Gun Supply sells them. You said, Chris, what's the name of that website that you went to? Icarus?
Icarus Precision.
Okay, let's fix my typo. There we go.
Yeah,
all right, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, these are super, super nice frames.
Oh, wow. So here's the standards. Okay, comp bundle. So they've got slides that they do. Let's go into the store. They do automotive, so they must machine parts for cars, apparently. So Looks like they offer their own customized models here. So what are we looking for, Chris? We're
so go into Ace 320.
Okay, okay. And then it's pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. So let's go with like the let's just pick one, for instance, Ace 320X Compact. What are we looking at here? You said, okay, 322. So you're going to get the gun for, I don't even know, what's a P320 run these days? 600, 500, 450 for a new one? Man, I haven't even checked. I feel bad.
I'm not sure on the base models.
Okay, okay. So again, you're looking at 322. You're looking at, and then if you want to go with a manual safety compatible, you can pay a little bit more. There's different coatings you can get. Do you want to patch with it? So again, not a bad looking option. And again, these are all machined aluminum basically. Yeah, it's pretty slick. You got the aggressive cuts for stripping out the mag, which can be kind of a love-hate thing with some people. I guess that's more of a divot that's cut into it and not an actual strip cut itself. But yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad looking. Let's go here. All right, let's go back and check and see what else we got. Then they've got this in the full size model, the 320 X5. Oh, and they also do slides too. So yeah, you can get your aftermarket. Oh, now here we go. Now this looks nice. All right, that's it right there. Okay, so Squib, this is what you need right here. Ace 320 SOCOM carry, done. It's got SOCOM in the title. It's going to be Squib approved. Look at the beaver tail on that thing. It's got that flared mag. Well, that's a very sweet looking module. So that's $379 for that one, and that's not going to include the slide, obviously, or the. You can get this one in Safety Worker yellow if you want to, which really shows off the contours and the cut of that thing. I mean, that's a sharp looking grip module. It's pretty sweet. Very cool.
So you throw the acronym SOCOM onto something, and then you can just jack up the price?
Basically, that's how it works. If you put tactical in the title or SOCOM, that basically is it. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Yeah. I think about the Springfield, the M1A SOCOM or whatnot that
There's
they make.
Wannabes out there that are willing to shell out their hard-earned money because, they didn't sign on the dotted line. That's fine. You can buy tacticalness.
Yes, you can. Mall Ninja goodness. Now, I mean, there's authentic, actual, SOCOM issue firearms. I'm thinking of the H&K 45. What is it? The USP SOCOM. Can't remember the name of it, but that's, it's going to be an actual legit firearm. But yeah. It's got that tactical appeal. What's that?
I like it when they have a commercially available version of the military issue, even if it's issued in small numbers firearm, not because of the whole weapons of war crap or any of the other stuff people try to twist. I'm just saying that if you served and you wanted to carry the same firearm or as close as possible to the same firearm, you could buy it as a civilian or even, while you were still in before you got out, or if you were just into milsurp stuff or you wanted to try something out that was just because it's mil spec or mil issue doesn't mean that it's like indestructible and super perfect, tactical, accurate, everything else. There's a lot of reasons why the military spends money on some of the stuff they do, and some of it looks like it's armor plated and indestructible, and it isn't, and things like that. But I think that stuff should always be available. I think a company that makes something and there's nothing in their contract with the government that says you can't make a version of this and just put a civilian serial number on it, and they don't take advantage of it, it just, or they make their version is so far off the original that it's not even close. I just don't think that's good marketing. It's like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So Squib, what you're saying is that Milspec isn't always the superior spec for anything, right?
Milspec works. Milspec
will get the job done.
It's going to fit within the certain parameters. Is it light? Is it durable? Is it easy to maintain? Does it fit within this price point? Is it interchangeable with other things? Milspec is just a specification. If your specification is it has to be this tall, this heavy, it has to be in this color, okay, that could be a Milspec, seriously. So if you get stuff that is made to Milspec, for example, you could order nuts and bolts and screws out of the catalog, but if you order them with a Milspec, they're probably going to be made in America, whereas the other ones are made in China, right? That doesn't mean Milspec automatically means made in America, but the government has to buy from an American contractor before they go outside of our country to buy something. That's a federal law. So sometimes Milspec does affect things like that. If you get Milspec parts for a gun, it's going to run. It's going to run just as reliably as it does for the military. It's not perfect, but it's not crap either. And I think some people misinterpret Milspec, and they look at Milspec as just this industrial grade, indestructible. I mean, you look at something like an LMTV, which is a standard military 2.5 ton truck, 5 ton truck. It looks like the thing is armor plated and indestructible. It's a commercial Caterpillar engine in there. It's an Allison transmission. And unless you get the up armored version, it's just sheet metal. But it looks like it's bullet resistant, and it's not necessarily, and stuff like that. So just because something meets a spec, it could have a spec that makes it easy for somebody with a high school education to repair, right? Something like that. I mean, some of these guns are designed so that any idiot can take it apart and clean it. And that might sound like I'm belittling the military, but I mean, I've met some serious rocks while I was in the military. These guys, they were like, you might be dumb, but you'll definitely be strong. And that's part of what they do with some of this. When they're thinking of it, when they're designing it, when the procurement, all the bidding and everything else. And if they can use an existing platform and save money, they will, unless somebody's getting a kickback, which happens too. It's just like civilian stuff. So there's a lot to be said about it. But if the fact that this gun existed first, and then the military adopted it, and you've got a version of it that's pretty close, and that military adoption makes the gun more appealing, so be it. But just don't think that because the military is using it, this is the best sidearm in the world. Not necessarily. The best sidearm is the one that you can put rounds on target with consistently.
It's kind of like when you were shooting the 450 Bushmaster that had the Magpul MOE stock on it. You didn't like it. And with me, I don't like the standard M4 stock. I'm accustomed to the MOE stock because that's all I've ever shot for the most part. So, I mean, you and I have kind of a different feel, when it comes to certain parts, you like that M4, standard style stock, I'm assuming, or you like maybe a fixed, like a full size stock. Whereas when you were shooting the Magpul stock, you weren't very impressed with it. You just couldn't feel, you didn't feel like you could get comfortable with it. So,
some people are like, oh, those Milspec triggers for ARs, right? They're junk. It's like, no, they run just fine. They run just fine all day long. The aftermarket triggers might have some advantages, especially if you want a 2-stage trigger for whatever reason. Or they might be made out of more durable materials, or they might be like a nano-ounce lighter or something like that. But it's not the trigger. So, I mean, if the trigger is gritty and jams up and breaks all the time or something like that, then yeah. The Milspec trigger works fine. It's not the best trigger. It's not the worst trigger. It does just fine. If you think by putting a $300 trigger in the gun, you're suddenly going to improve your accuracy, probably not. I mean, if that $300 trigger pull is the one that you want, or you just want to spend your money, hey man, you earned it. But the Milspec, it runs. It works fine all day long. There's other things like that that are Milspec. They've been around since you name it, right? The AR-15 trigger, it's somewhat modified from the M16 trigger. It's been around since the 50s. It works. So it's really just a matter of opinion. So if you're looking at the Sig P320 from the whole Milspec or just, it's just like anything else. Everybody has a different opinion, or everybody has what they're comfortable with, or I heard it from this guy and everything he says is the word of God, so it must be what it is. And if that's, once again, we're a capitalist society. Go spend your money the way you want, I guess.
And if you want to spend your money the right way, you should get over to rnldisplays.com, where soon they're going to offer the tactical toothbrush for only $69.99. It's going to be the Magpul. Magpul needs to do a April Fool's commercial with like a Magpul MOE toothbrush where the guy's like, somewhere like maybe in combat or something, he's like stopping for a moment to brush his teeth, the war on plaque or something. I mean, they could definitely do a very cool. Somebody pass that on to Magpul for me. I'll take credit for it, but that'd be sweet. Yeah, tactical polymer toothbrushes. I want a toothbrush that has like an interchangeable grip module. So like sometimes if I'm feeling like I need a bigger grip to really get those molars, I've got more purchase on it, and then like you can put grip zone right down the middle of it, so I know where to put my hands when I brush my teeth. And then like maybe make a thinner one for travel, like a light, like an SL version of it for travel. I'm telling you guys, I'm just full of great ideas. Okay. I'll be happy to bounce these patents off you for a very low price if you want to. Go ahead, Squib.
Tactical polymer. So what you're trying to say is OD green or coyote brown
FDE
But if you say
Patriot Brown
plastic, nobody will buy it. But if you say tactical polymer, there'll be a line of people.
Infused, and then you can have like the tungsten version, so it stays better balanced as you're scrubbing away at your incisors. You know, I'm telling you, you can do a whole line of tactical toothbrush. You could have Oral-B MOE. That's it.
Goodness.
That's it right there. What's that? Don't even get me started on tactical floss. Like you could have bracelets made out of it that you could take apart so you can floss in the field if you want to. You could have paracord but parafloss. You know, look at this. Look at this. Like, I don't even know how we got on this topic. It's because of New York Outcast suggesting the tactical toothbrush. So yeah, we want the SOCOM toothbrush.
Hey, I have a question about that tactical polymer toothbrush. Does it take Glock mags?
No, but it is have a pick rail on it, so you can attach a light if you need to light up your mouth so you can see where you're scrubbing better. So speaking of tactical toothbrushes, look who's here. Defense Dad just stepped in the room. Look at this guy. I don't even know where that came from. Defense Dad, how's it going, man? What are you doing? You can help get us back on track so we can talk about the P320 because we're losing viewers left and right now. So don't worry, this chat's not monetized. I could care less. But anyway, Defense Dad, what are you doing, man? What's up?
Oh, just got off work, got in the car, figured I'd catch the tail end of it.
Heck yeah. So what's your take on the P320? What do you think about it? Have you held one? Have you shot one? What's your take? You gave us a pretty good comparison to the ladies of what the P320 is like, you know? So
I've shot quite a few of the variants. So one of the local gun stores pretty regularly has a Sig rep out here. They let you shoot all of them. Not my favorite. They're good guns. Kind of like I said in the chat, I just shoot other ones better. If any, I like the X5, and then I like the X5 Legion, and I've shot the X Carry. Other than that, the more basic ones, and even the M18 or M17, they're okay. I didn't shoot them very well.
Yeah, and maybe it's just because you're not used to it.
I'm not. Well, I like I told you earlier today, I was on my way to buy. Shields used to have one that was their version of the X5 Legion. I was going to buy that, and then I instead bought my VP9. So, like, I don't hate them. I just like anything else, some are going to be better for other people.
Yeah, and here's something else that nobody's brought up yet. Actually, M. Gabriel brought this up early on, one of the first comments. I think he had mentioned that what it was the Glock was, there was no comparison. The Glock was better because the P320 has a much higher bore axis, which can have an effect on stability and flop in your hands while you're firing it. And I looked it up, and I believe I could be totally wrong, but the P320, like medium-sized grip module, has a bore axis that's a half-inch higher than a Glock 19 from the middle web of the hand on the grip to the bore, the center of the slide on the rear. So a half inch is a decent amount of height when you're talking about a handgun. I mean, granted, with enough practice, you can get past any kind of design, limitation or whatnot. But I thought that was kind of interesting that is true. It does have that higher grip angle. I mean, but it depends on somebody can shoot amazingly with that P320 too if they practice enough with it. But that's out of the box. You might notice that difference in stability on the firing line. So regardless of the trigger or whatnot. Now that's for the standard frame, not the Legion X5 whatnot. Some of those have very different frames that look a lot, a little bit different, not quite so chunky. So that's always an option. Let's see here.
So like again, I don't.
You're breaking up, Defense Dad. Real quick, New York Outcast says, I bet someone's going to 3D print some tactical toothbrushes now and forget about my cut. Sorry, New York Outcast. You better get out there and patent it quick. All right, Defense Dad, let's try that again. You totally warbled out on us, buddy. Roboted out.
Yeah, is this better? I was in a bad spot driving.
No, we're good. Go ahead, dude. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put it this way. So, again, I don't shoot either one of them very much, but when I picked up the P320, just a regular one, I shot it okay. But you saw, and I'm not a crack shot by any means, but you saw when I shot your Glock 17, I pick it up and I shoot it well.
Yeah.
So for me, it's much better.
Yeah, just like out of the box, not necessarily.
I think they're crazy, accurate. But they work. It all works better for them.
Yeah. AC97 says, like, the P10C is basically everything, and that Glock 19 should be out of the box. Bore access isn't a problem. Texture grips. Points well, decent trigger. Yeah, the CZ P10C. Yeah. Let's see. Honda had a fun little comment here. I want the golden toothbrush from Coming to America, where the guy opens up the coat. He's got all the Prince's hygienical products in it and stuff. So, yep, I'm telling you, man, tactical floss. Tactical floss is where it's at. Have like FTE floss, you know, camo floss. There's a whole market for this stuff that people are not tapping into. Of course, yeah, I guarantee there's probably somebody out there that's already doing it. But AC97 says, plus you can get the P10C for below $500. So that's a good arguing point too. There's a lot of competition out there for $550 and below for these small to maybe mid-sized handguns. Yeah, I think Defense said you had quoted what $549 for a basic P320. So it's basically right on par with the Glock 19. So
yeah, they're in the same basic price range.
Mm-hmm. A fluffy 10 millimeter Jeep guy says, I shoot SIGs better than Glocks. I think it's because I started out with an old P-Series Ruger, high bore axis. I shoot those good too. Yeah, it kind of depends on what you started off with, maybe what you trained with initially or what you were just most comfortable with. You just get more accurate with it. You know, I mean, it's not like my 1911, my SR 1911's got a low bore axis either. I mean, it's up there, and I shoot that fairly well, and it's smooth, but it does have a little bit of movement when you pull the trigger. So.
Yeah, like my PPQs don't have the lowest bore access in the world, so it all comes down to what you like.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, guys, we've gone for an hour. We've got Sandhills Media. He's got his podcast starting at 8. I'm going to be on that show. Defense Dad, you're probably going to be over there too, so we'll be taking off here pretty soon. Boss75 says, y'all got any of that tactical polymer? Oh, Squib's got tons of it. Just go ahead and email Squibload, and he'll get you anything in tactical polymer you want. You got tactical polymer grills for your Chevy, tactical polymer cigarette lighters, you know, whatever, man. We've got your back so that in the heat of combat, you're all set to go. So, all right.
You need the tactical polymer Ford Mustang emblem that glows in the dark or whatever. Yeah, we got you.
The Magpul Mustang MOE grip module.
Yeah, we can chrome plate it too if you want to add 5 more horsepower to it. Because chrome plating does that. With anything on a car, if you chrome plate it, you just added 5 horsepower. It doesn't matter what it is.
Oh, man. All right, Blue Steel. Oh, God, here we go. See, this is another one I mentioned like 4 or 5 years ago. I wish Glock made a single stack 10 millimeter. No real reason why. It would just be cool if they did because, well, it would be kind of cool. You're not going to gain anything with a short barrel, right? But let's see. What do we have here?
You wish Glock made a single stack 10 millimeter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Colt does. It's called the Delta Elite, and
oh, it's already done. See, there you go. But it's not polymer though. It's not tactical polymer, so it's not tactical with me. So, Blue Steel 44 says, "Will Sig drop the single stack micro 10 millimeter first?" That's going to be the next thing. The micro subcompact 10 millimeter is going to be, or 30 super carry. Well, no, they already got that. No, it's going to be the 40 super carry, also known as 10 millimeter micro single stack compact. And that's going to be the next one that they're going to, because they're going to run out of ideas here eventually. We've got the optics cuts, you know, we've got, you know, I'm trying to think of, we've got these different grip modules you can change up. They got to keep doing stuff to market it. So now they're just moving into different calibers. We'll probably get a 5.7 pistol at some point in the future, even though, well, I guess there is ammo on the shelves occasionally in 5.7, but still. Scott 79 says, I want a rotating barrel Glocks. I mean, there's still a lot of options out there that they have not sold to us yet. So, oh man. Okay. So Jamie Clapp says, where are y'all going to be? What channel? Just look for Sandhills Media and Sandhills Space Media, and the channel will pop up. Somebody can put the link out there for Sandhills channel. Let's do that so you guys can go over and watch. It's going to be an interesting one. I think we're talking about the gun lobby this evening. Yes or no, you know, does the money have any effect at all on anything, you know, in terms of the gun lobby, which can be an interesting one. Kevin June says, where are the photon laser guns at? Squib is working on those right now, and Chris is doing the beta testing for us, and there'll be SOCOM, SOPMOD, tactical polymer photon laser guns at SHOT Show 2023. So just saying. So they're coming, people. Watch out. That's going to be a game changer. And the funny part is, about that time, High Point's going to release their Gen 2 threaded barrel double stack 9mm. I guarantee it's going to come out the same year that we finally get those photon guns. So
we're having some problem with the R&D. We're trying to keep them in a 40-watt range, and it's not working out so well.
You know, it definitely depletes the power source quickly. So
I was I thought High Point was doing the 10 millimeter yeet cannon.
No, they were doing the
No?
YC9 Gen 2. That was the one that's gonna have like the regular pick rail on it, threaded barrel, optics cut, maybe 9 sights, double stack. That was gonna be the one. That's what they showed off a couple of years ago as the replacement for the 9C or whatever, the C9, just their basic 9 millimeter that they sell.
Dude, I was
Have
kidding.
they mentioned as? Oh no, but seriously, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, yeah, because 10 millimeter is the next thing that they're offering because, well, they're kind of either they're inventing new calibers like 30 Super Carry, or they're just going to add on or take a model that currently exists and rechamber it for something else. So Scott 79 says Glock carbine. There you go.
I've tried to get those guys to tell me when that thing's actually coming out. They will not tell you anything.
High Point.
Yep, I shoot with one of the guys that works there.
I'm kind of curious if it's not there. Oh god, there's probably a non-disclosure act on that where you'd be fired instantly and probably sued if you revealed the trade secret like that. I mean, that's something that I think a lot of workers take serious.
We had him on a live chat when I first started doing chat, and man, they were drilling him left and right, and he wouldn't say anything.
No. Yeah, I got some insider news too, and I'm not going to say anything, but yeah. Oh, good. So I don't know when they're going to come out with it. Maybe they want to have, for one thing, they've got to get the parts sourced or supplied or manufactured. They've got to get complete guns ready. They've got the R&D on it. But we're talking at this point, 3 years since they mentioned the Gen 2. This will be 3 years now in January, I think. We go back and look at when it was featured or when they first showed it off. And what they did show off was just a 3D printed model, basically. It wasn't even a running gun, But again, they might have to retool for new slides or reprogram. I'm sure they could. But with COVID, I know for a fact they did shut their factory down for a period of time because they mentioned that they weren't going to be able to do anything except warranty service for like 6 months or something because of them having to shut the plant down. It was indefinite. They didn't know when they were going to be able to open back up again. Interruption in supply. I mean, it's just a cluster. Granted, if they would have worked hard, they probably could have gotten it out by now, but they're limited with whatever resources they really want to put into it. So. Hey guys, make sure you vote Nice Strike for president in 2024. And on that note, I think we're going to go ahead and end it now. So we will let the panel give us their final plugs, their final thoughts on the P320. Again, we just wanted to go through the details and look at the different variants that are out there, kind of talk about how it stacks up against the competition, very comparable to what Glock has to offer and CZ. A lot of it comes down to just, again, personal preference. Go to the range, rent one, try it out, try some different size frames and so on. Chris, we'll let you start it up, man. Any final words you want to say before we go?
No, thanks to the side chat. They're awesome tonight, and thanks
fun.
for having me on. I really appreciate it. And
Yep.
If you guys want a show to watch on Wednesday nights, I'll be doing my live chat 9 to 11 Eastern, and that's all I got.
Okay. See, Squib might have some reception problems. If we get Squib back in here before we go, well, there he is. Okay. Squib, any final thoughts on the P320? Anything you want to say?
I mean, like if Boost brings his M17 to Thunder on the Prairie next year, I'll shoot it. But
there you go.
It's just, well, okay. Look at it like this. All right, I kind of like the Glock 17, and I kind of like the Glock 29, but I'm thinking more full-size Glock 20 should be pretty close. But they're not. They didn't just jump to the top of my list because of that. So if I shoot this thing and I like it, I suppose it'll move up on my list of things. But there's so many other things. So if I just don't seem enthusiastic about this or some of the other ones, it's not because they're bad guns. We all have our preferences. What I don't like is like when I hand a full-size revolver to somebody or a 1911 and they run scared. It's not that, nah, man, I'm not interested, or I've shot them before and I don't like them, or whatever. It's like when they squeal like a little girl and they run screaming for the hills. If somebody wants you to shoot their gun and you're really not that interested, just run a mag through it to make them happy. But whether you like it or not, you never know. So when I shoot this, maybe I'll like it. The thing about them customizing it for the individual service man or woman just doesn't set well with me because I'm old school. But hey, it's a crazy brave new world, I guess. It
is, man. And if you're liking Glocks at all, then there's something's definitely shifted in the cosmos to make that happen. So, and remember, Squib, that G17 is just sitting there waiting for you to take it back out to the range and bark off a few more rounds. So anytime you want to shoot it, and I can make you a fan of the dark side, the Glocks, just let me know and I'll do so. And again, Ultra Fire people, I like all makes and models. I love CZ, Glock, Smith & Wesson. I'm what would that be? Poly. It's not poly. Help me out here. What do you call it if you're into more than one brand of firearm? Poly firearmistic? Was that even a term? I don't even know. Polypolistic? I'm polypolistic. So when it comes to pistols, I like various brands. I can't just be, consistent or committed to just one particular brand. I don't even know what I'm talking about tonight. All right. Chris, quick question for you. Didn't half their factory burn down at High Point? They're based out of Ohio, right?
Yeah, they're in Mansfield.
Did they have a fire? I guess I didn't hear about High Point having a fire. There's been nothing on the website.
I don't think I've ever heard that. Yeah, they're about 35 minutes from my house.
Okay. All right. Chris, did I ask you, is there anything you want to say about the P320 before we go? I can't remember if I got around to you or not.
No, I just can't wait to get my hands on the X10. I know that.
Absolutely, man. It looks like a lot of fun. So, again, any 10mm is definitely a blast to shoot. So, guys, make sure you check out Chris's channel. Get over there, like and subscribe. Make sure you get over there, watch his podcast. Show a little bit of love. All right. Let's get everybody out there for the world to listen to. Defense Dad, any final words of wisdom?
Oh, I think it was a good discussion. When it comes down to it, if you like SIGs, you like the P320, buy it. Personally, I would take a Glock over it, but that's just me.
Yeah.
They're neither one of them good as an HK, though.
Oh, geez. Oh. and H&K doesn't even come close to my Walther PDP. Anything H&K makes, my Walther PDP is the superior firearm. But you know what? That's a discussion for another day. And so we'll go ahead and have that discussion later. So just for the record, I bought my PDP from Defense Dad. So just want to get that out there. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and go. Just quick heads up. There will not be there will not be a Caliber Corner on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. nor a Caliber Corner on Thursday evening. Got a lot of stuff going on with family. It's a busy time of the year for me, so I can't guarantee I'm going to be here to be in front of the screen. I'm going to be here. I'm just not going to be here in front of the screen or running a computer or having time to sit down and do stuff, just so you guys know. But anyway, yeah, that's what's going on. So I will be dropping videos for you on Wednesday. Let's see. I'll drop a video on Saturday for you guys to watch. I got a fun one lined up. It has to do with black powder, and thanks to Squib, it did happen. It's a very fun video I had a chance to make. That'll be on Wednesday. And then on Saturday, I've got another video that I'll drop for you guys also. So I'll keep you going with the content. If you're a patron of mine, you do get to see all the content early. You also get in the drawings and stuff. But I know that Kingpin put my Patreon link out there. You guys can check it if you want to. So, all right. I think that's it. So let's give a little shout out on the YouTube side. Let's see who's there. Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy, AC97, Chris from the 740, Eduardo Espinosa. Looks like he's sending a love letter to somebody. I don't know. Jamie Clapp out there. Polyballistic. Polyballistic says Jamie Clapp. Okay. Let's see. Gizzard Gary, Garage Guy 879. Ozzy Orsborn out there also. Always barking at the moon. Kevin Jooms in the house. Kingpin out there also. New York Outcast. Blue Steel 44. You guys had a lively chat tonight, man. A good discussion. Bwat 75. E-Honda 420 stopped by for a little while. Let's see. Bwat 75, myself, M. Gaber out there posting the first comment about the bore access. Let's see. Oh, we do need to check the poll here. We'll do that real quick before we go too. I think that's about it. YNH was out there tonight. There's a lot of people chatting. Anybody that I missed, I do apologize. Yeah, we'll go ahead and leave it at that. So let me go to the survey. The survey says, which handgun is the better handgun? And I try to just kind of pick something that would have like the same size as a comparison. The Glock 19 any gen was 36%. The P320 and 9mm was 34%. At one point, they were tied 35 to 35. M&P 9mm was 25%. And then Defense Dad's vote, the HK VP9 with 5%. So that's going to go ahead and end the poll. The Glock 19, according to the viewers this evening, is the better handgun. And I'm sorry for you SIG fans that came here tonight listening for the affirmation that you needed, that you made a good purchase, or that you're, you did the right thing. You did. You're fine. It's okay. It's only 2%. It's not a big deal. So anyway, guys, this is Travis P11. Thanks for watching. I want you guys to have fun, be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you.